Now, is this a crazy thing to say? This is wild. This is an absolutely wild thing to say, especially when Florida State had the year they had last year, especially when Tommy Castellanos got benched last year at Boston College. Yes, Saban's not there. It doesn't matter. It's still Bama. It's still a top 10 defense.
Y'all get to go put hands on this man. Y'all get to baptize this man. You get to tell him what it's like to be baptized in the tide, in the blood. If you know what I mean here, we're going to help this man go see Jesus about himself and about some of the things that he has made. We're going to ask him, hey, are you happy with the choices that you decided to make, particularly on June 23rd?
What's up, everybody? What's up with you? Let's get it.
What's up?
Let's get it. What's up, Jacob? What the business is?
Yep, you too.
Yeah, man. Happy Tuesday, Big Ten Tuesday with Piano Man, the one and only.
Yeah.
Jacob is here. Man, we one step closer. 18 days, Jacob. And we rolling and y'all Wolverine it out.
Yep.
We rolling and y'all Wolverine it out. Before we start getting into our conversation, let me holler those in the chat. Let me see. I see Latoya Billingsley. Good morning, Roll Tide. Stephen Hicks, Roll Tide. Good morning, Dwight. Roll Tide to you. Yeah, you know we always want to see Dwight. Stephen Hicks, Latoya. Let me see who else up in here. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Let's see. Big Dog Gotta Eat. What up? What up with you? That's my friend from Tennessee. What's up? 79 Jedi Buck. Oh, there's your Ohio State fan there.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't see him comment.
Yeah, there he is. He said, "Good morning, Tide Nation. All y'all have a blessed day." I'm not sure if he's still in or not, but he is here. He's here. He's here. And we have some more coming in and everything. But we're going to look at something right quick. Jacob, here we go. This is something my producer has done. Okay.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yes, sir. All right. Good morning, Clinton Howard. Roll Tide. Yes, sir. We'll take it. We'll take it. Uh-huh. I love it. I love it. Good job, Dwight. Like you always do. I'm trying to get this dude to do his own show and everything, and he won't do it about like you won't do it. I don't know what's going on with y'all, man. But y'all, I like that, Dwight. That's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded, cool. Man. That's cold-blooded. So,
good job, Dwight. That was awesome.
Yo, that's shoot. That's real awesome. Real awesome. So, Jacob, how you been, man?
I've been good. How about you?
Man, I'm trying to still clear this cold up. I refuse to go and get a shot. I'm like my daddy. I'm gonna take the long way around.
Yeah.
So there's stuff they put in these shots, man. And folks, my son went and took a shot the other day. He came back crazy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Jacob, we had our first, before we go and dive into Big Ten, we had our first college fantasy football draft the other night.
Yep.
And Jacob, I want to be the first to tell you, bro, that was an experience like no other. I never drafted before. That was my first time ever doing it. Down the stretch, because I told y'all I was in church. And so down the stretch, I had to put it on auto draft and let it draft for me. And that was like cool. And I want everybody to know somebody beat me to Ty Simpson. But I did get Jam Miller, and I got John Mateer as my quarterback. And then you come breaking this news yesterday. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Herb and Raj. Roll Tide. Then you come breaking this news yesterday that Mateer, go ahead, break the news.
I don't know if he's going to be suspended, but there's like this thing that's been going around on Twitter saying that he was gambling on college football games It was basically just like a transaction log from Venmo, and it was him sending money to people saying that he was basically betting on sports, and then someone found it, and then he deleted it right after, so that kind of makes it look a little bit more suspicious. So I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to come out of it or not, but um, probably not. Probably not, but you never know. So there's a chance he could be suspended, I guess. But
people bet on sports, and I'm not defending nor am I denying anything, but the catch is, excuse me, people bet on sports all the time. Now, I don't know what the rules are as far as players doing it and everything. I think they're not supposed to. And if you know you're not supposed to do it, don't do it. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
Don't do it. You know, and but Big Dogs Gotta Eat says, but also don't mess with Vegas's money. Yeah, you don't do that either. But if you know the rule is in place and it's telling you not to do it, then just don't do it. It's really just that simple.
right. Yeah, I don't think anything's actually probably going to happen to him. It's only like 3 weeks away from the season, and by the time I mean, they have to send you. I think they have to send you like a notice of allegations telling you what you did. I mean, it would take too long. I think he would be fine, but it just was kind of funny more than anything.
I don't think it's going to happen to you. Now here we are,
No.
18 days away from the start of the season.
Yeah, we still haven't heard anything about Michigan yet.
Haven't heard a thing. And Jacob, what have I been saying for the last few days?
Yeah, you've been saying you didn't think anything's going to happen.
So I'm going to put it this way, bro. I'm going to stick with my guns. And I've still said that out of the AP right quick, yesterday, the AP poll came out, and and I know they have Michigan ranked number 15, 14, and everything. I'm still sticking with my guns. I'm going to say that Michigan will be one of those teams that's going to rise from the ashes, especially if nothing happens to them, which I don't think it is, because if we're at this date, 18 days away, I don't see them pulling. I don't see the NCAA pulling the rug from up under you all like right now at this juncture, Jacob. Yeah. I don't see it happening.
I don't see
it. Amber, that I don't think anything is going to happen. So with that being said, I'm picking Michigan as my dark horse to rise from the ashes. And one of these top 12 that's already here won't be, because somewhere along the line, Michigan is gonna surface.
I hope you're right. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, when I look at the first 12, let me look at them. Let me find them. Let me find my paper. Let me look at the first 12 right quick. Now, here we go. We have Texas. We have Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Miami, Arizona State, and Illinois. Right. Somebody won't make the cut.
Yeah.
Somebody won't make the cut. And so I'm putting it like this. I've looked at it, Jacob, and you've got Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. You've got, then at number 12, you've got Illinois, then Michigan. So in your top 15, you do have 1, 2, 3. Let me see. Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, Illinois, Michigan. You've got 5 teams of the Big Ten in the top 15.
Yeah.
5 teams. So the odds of Michigan making it and Illinois Don't make it. It's kind of good. So address that. Good morning, Governor. Good morning.
I thought the AP poll was all right. There was a few things I disagreed with.
Which one did you disagree with?
I thought that Clemson should have been ahead of Ohio State for one. Excuse me. I thought Ohio State should be at 4 just because of their so many unknowns with their quarterback. They got 2 new coordinators. They have a lot of new pieces on defense. I liked Ohio State at 4. I think Clemson, Penn State, and Texas are kind of in a little bit tier of their own. I think you could argue any of those 3 at 1. I don't really mind who you put at 1 out of those 3. But then my next tier in my own rankings were Ohio State, Bama, and Georgia. I kind of had them in a separate tier. Georgia and Bama are kind of similar teams to me just because of their unknown quarterback. I mean, we don't know how good Ty Simpson's going to be, and Gunnar Stockton kind of the same. He has a lot to prove. So I kind of view Bama and Georgia similarly, and then Ohio State I put in that tier, but I put Ohio State at 4 ahead of those 2 teams just because they have the best player, in my opinion, on offense and defense. They got Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith, so I give them the benefit of the doubt. So I put them at 4. And then Georgia or Bama, I think should be at 5 and 6. However you want to put those 2 is kind of up to you. And then after those 2 teams for me, it's Notre Dame and Oregon. Those are kind of a tier of my own. I would probably give the nod to Notre Dame, I think, over Oregon because they return more production and starters. Oregon lost a lot of starters. And then for me after Oregon, it's LSU. And then probably Miami, I would say. That would probably be my top 10. So I think they put Alabama a little bit too low at number 8. I would have you guys up at about 5 or 6. And then I would have Clemson ahead of Ohio State. But besides that, I think they did fine. Michigan at 14 seems fair to me. We are coming off kind of a rough season. So 14 is super fine, but preseason rankings don't matter. Just win games and you'll end up where you need to be.
Exactly. I'm still going to say, too, and I'm listening to what you say there, Jacob, and I'm sort of in agreement with you. I'm fine with Bama being 8th because of if you're going on based it on last year's showing, we were not consistent and everything, but this is a new year, and so I understand. We really did not play well. Down the stretch, and especially in the bowl game, and we didn't make playoffs, obviously. But I'm satisfied with 8th because I've said before, I'm gonna say it again. Week 1 will be the week of shakeups from the start. You got number 1 and number 3 playing, that which means Texas, Ohio State, they're playing. You've got Clemson, LSU playing. That's gonna be a shakeup. You've got Notre Dame and Miami playing. See, so in that top 10 right there, that's going to shake up, and they're not going to, the loser will not stay in that position. Somebody's going to drop because that's what tradition says. That's what happens. Now they may not, how far they drop is going to depend on how well or how bad they play. That's how I see it. So week one shake up. Week 2 will be a shake up as well, because remember, Michigan's coming in at 14th. Oklahoma's coming in at 18th. See, so in week 2, you got Michigan and Oklahoma playing each other, number 14 and number 18. Now, that ranking is going to be very, very deceiving because both of those teams are going to be good. And so those could be, I've already said Michigan, and I'm going to stand by that because you all for the last 4 years have pulled a rabbit out the hat and have just you won the NCAA one year, beat us again in the same year, beating Ohio State 4 years in a row. I think you're about to make it 5. And so Michigan's going to be that team, again, that rise out of the Big Ten ashes. Oklahoma's going to be that team that if people aren't careful, you let them get the confidence that they need and everything, they could be a team that could be a dark horse in the SEC. So that week 2 game of Michigan and Oklahoma is going to be an important game for both of y'all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think College Game Day should probably be at that game. If you look at week 2, there's not many big games week 2. That's the only ranked matchup right now, Michigan and Oklahoma. So Game Day should be there. It should be super pumped up. It should be, a great game. Oklahoma's offense should be a lot better. They brought in John Mateer and his OC from Washington State. Their receivers are back healthy. That was one of their biggest problems last year. I think they were down to like their 6th, 7th, and 8th receiver. They just had brutal injuries. They brought in Jaden Ott from Cal. He's an All-American running back. Mm-hmm. It might take them a few weeks, but I think eventually they should figure out their offense and they should be pretty good, at least a competent offense. And then Brett Venables is always going to have a good defense over there. So I think Oklahoma should be much improved, and they should at least be competitive a little bit more than last year. They had a good defense last year, but they didn't have much else.
Yeah, they opened with Illinois State, and then they play Michigan, and everything. And after Illinois State and Michigan, they go to Temple, and then they play Auburn, and they play Auburn in Norman, which I believe that Oklahoma will win that game. I'm of the firm persuasion that Auburn is going to struggle in the first game and possibly lose the first game against Baylor. I've been on that game since the schedule has come out. So this week 1, week 2, shake up, if you will, is going to be, it's real. It's real, Jacob. It's a real thing. And so those top 12 teams, like I said, Texas, Penn State, Ohio State. So I'm gonna run it back again. In week when we know who the number 11 team is Arizona State. Number 12 is Illinois. South Carolina comes in at 13th and Michigan at 14th. See, so you have teams that's sitting right there, right outside the top 12. If any of those top 11, 12 teams lose at pivotal points in the season, South Carolina and Michigan will be poised to take their place. I'm just of that persuasion that that's what's going to happen, because somebody's going to lose, Jacob. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah. So, I think it really just depends on who loses. Like, if Texas loses, they're not going to drop outside the top 10 from number 1, I don't think. Or even Ohio State, they might drop to 8 or 9. But if obviously Miami loses, they're at 10, they're going to drop down probably to like 15 or who knows. But and then same with LSU, they'll drop outside the top 10. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. 3 top 10 matchups in week 1 is just absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And I'm really ready to see it. So with that being said, Jacob, let's talk about the Big Ten. And so we see here now that we just established that in the top 15, you got 5 Big Ten teams there. Now, besides Ohio State, who does Michigan play?
We actually don't play Penn State, Oregon. We don't play Illinois. So out of all the ranked teams that you mentioned, we only play Ohio State. We play Nebraska on the road, which they were, I think, a fringe team that almost made the rankings. I've heard a lot of people saying that they think they're going to be a dark horse. So we do play Nebraska on the road. We play USC. on the road. Then we play Purdue,
Maryland.
Northwestern, Maryland, obviously Ohio State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Washington at home. That could be a sneaky game. So yeah, our schedule definitely is a little favorable this year because out of all the teams that you mentioned that are ranked, we only play Ohio State out of the Big Ten. So that's nice this year because last year our schedule was a lot harder.
Got you. And so now here's what Big Dog's got to eat, and we're gonna refer to some questions in the chat. I'm glad he brought this question up. I'm gonna give you first crack at it, Jake. Do you think Illinois is overrated? They have a lot of hype around them, but Vegas odds don't match. What saith Jacob?
Yeah, I think Illinois is overrated. I think they're getting a lot of hype. A lot of people are thinking they're going to win 10 games and make the playoffs, but I don't see that happening. I think they'll be closer to 8-4. Like you made a good point. I think we talked about a couple weeks ago on the show. Their win total is only 7.5. Is only 7.5 for a reason. If Vegas thought they were going to be a 10-2 team, they would at least probably have it at 8.5 or 9.5. So I see Illinois being closer to 8-4. They do return a lot of players, but they have a pretty decently hard schedule. They have to play Ohio State. I believe they have to play Oregon. So 9-3 or 8-4. I would be really surprised if Illinois made the playoffs at 10-2. So yeah, I think they're slightly overrated for how everyone's talking about them.
Yeah, and they have 15, 16. They have 15, 16 starters returning on
16
offense.
starters returning, yeah.
Yeah, 9 on offense, 7 on defense. And I mean, starting at their left tackle all the way to the running back are returning starters on offense. Yep. And on defense, you have an outside linebacker and a inside linebacker. And DBs are returning. So I can understand why. I can understand why they're hyped on it, but I'm also looking at the quality of it, Jacob, and I don't think Illinois is going to be there now. Could they play spoiler role? Yeah, they could.
Yeah,
they really could. But I don't know.
I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games, but I think 10 for Illinois. They did win 10 last year. I understand that, but this year they're going to have more of a target on their back. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. I feel like a lot of the times that's a huge thing when, look at Vanderbilt last year. Vanderbilt, I don't think Vanderbilt's going to sneak up on anyone this year either.
Right.
I think you're muted, but yeah, I don't think Illinois is going to sneak up on anyone this year. I think people are going to take them seriously. Obviously, they're ranked number 12 in the AP poll. So I think they're going to have they're going to have a good season, probably 8 or 9 win season, which for Illinois is pretty good. I just don't think they're going to make the
playoffs. First, let me go back to the chat. I see my nephew, Anton McBride, talking about them darn Florida State Seminoles. Good morning, nephew. But I don't think so. I don't think you're ready for what's about to happen to you. You better tell them it's a storm alert. There's a storm alert coming in 18 days. Y'all going to have this thing called the tide coming. And y'all going to get washed down there. Good morning, Jermaine. Roll Tide. Good morning, Amber Nicole. Roll Tide. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in the chat. All listeners, lookers, and lurkers, saints, ain'ts, and friends. We're glad to see you here today, too. It was Big Ten Tuesday, along with my brother Jacob. Glad to see him over here in the chat. And we are talking about Big Ten football. We're basically talking football, but today's Big Ten, because hold your head down, Jacob. You see who he's, you got that big M up there. He's a Michigan man. He bleeds the maize and blue.
Yep, for sure. Hoping this is a turnaround season. Alabama and Michigan both are kind of in a similar spot. We both need bounce back seasons.
Yeah, Look, here's my nephew talking about we gonna shock the world. Yeah, y'all gonna shock the world, all right. Y'all gonna shock the world. How shocked y'all gonna be? How good Alabama is? That's what's gonna be shocking. Y'all gonna be shocked, bro. Y'all gonna be shocked. But wait a minute. This is what the governor said. Y'all see how it's okay for other schools to go 9-4, 10-3, and that's a good season. But for Bama, 9-4, the school is washed. It's over.
Bama definitely has a different standard than Illinois. I think if Illinois wins 9 games, that's going to be considered pretty good.
Yeah, but yeah, Illinois, as far as I can remember, they're known more for their basketball than they are.
Yeah,
football.
They're usually pretty good in March Madness. Yeah, they're usually pretty good. They've had a couple good football teams. Do you remember Juice Williams, who played at Illinois back in the 2000s? They beat Ohio State one year. He was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it was about 2005. So they've had some decent football teams, but few and far between. So I think if they win 9 games this year, 9-3, that's pretty good for Illinois. They have a tougher schedule, like I said. So
yeah, because their schedule is like Western Illinois. They open with them. That should be a win.
Yeah.
And then they go to Duke. Now, I'm going to say this now. Don't count that up just yet.
Yeah.
Because Duke is not the Duke. Let's put it like this. Duke football team is not the Duke football team that I remember from back when I was a teenager. See, so this is a different Duke team. So
yeah, Duke brought in a good quarterback, transferred Darian Mensah from I believe Tulane. Duke brought in some good pieces. That's not going to be an easy road game.
Yeah.
That's a road game. That's not going to be easy. So Illinois probably should win that game. They probably do have a better team, but you never know. You're going on the road playing a decent ACC team. So, yeah, that's not just a free win by any means.
Yeah. And then they play Western Michigan. And speaking of Western Michigan, isn't there some allegations on them right about now? It seemed like I was reading that somewhere.
Central Michigan. Yeah, that's Central Michigan. But, yeah, they had Connor Stallions on their sidelines versus when Central Michigan played Michigan State. So they allowed him onto their sidelines, even though he was working for Michigan. So Central Michigan has some NCAA investigation going on. So we'll find out what's going to happen with all that. But
probably nothing.
Yeah.
Probably nothing.
Crazy stuff.
Then they go to Indiana. This is we're talking about Illinois now. Then they go to Indiana, and then they play USC. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a tough game. Indiana is going to be pretty decent. They're ranked, I think, 20, and that's on the road, so that's a tough game.
Indiana, then they play USC. They play USC in Champaign. Then they go to Purdue. Then they play Ohio State. Ohio State has to come to Illinois. Yep. That's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting game. Mark that game. That will be on October 11th. Mark that game, because that game has a tendency has the vibe that could be Ohio State's trap game. That could be a trap game for them.
For sure.
And so then they go to Washington. Watch that game too. That game, Washington is going to be better than what people give them credit for. They're going to be better.
Washington's going to be good. Yeah. I think Washington's going to be pretty good.
They lost Coach DeBoer, and they had to get over their first year, but now they gathered some cool players there. So Washington's going to be good. And then Illinois plays Rutgers, Maryland. They go to Wisconsin, and then they finish they go to Wisconsin, and then they finish with Northwestern. So after Washington, 1, 2, 3, the last 4 games, they should win.
Yeah. But I was just counting up in my head. You said at Duke, that's a possible loss. They should win that, but Duke is going to be better. They do bring in that good quarterback, and then I think you said at Indiana. That's a tough game. That could be a loss. So they might be an underdog in that game, especially on the road. USC, I know that's at home, which is a big advantage, but USC is really a wild card. They have a lot of talent if they figure it out. They have a more talented roster than Illinois if they can figure out how to use it. Ohio State, obviously, that's most likely a loss. You never know. Something could happen. They could pull an upset, but likely a loss. And then at Washington as a fifth game, so even if you go, you got to pretty much go 3-2 in those games, and then you can't slip up anywhere else. At Wisconsin's never the easiest place to play. Wisconsin's not going to be good, but it's not an easy place to play. So just breaking it down like that, you can see it's going to be tough for them to go 10-2. I mean, they're going to have to go 3-2 in those hard games, not slip up anywhere else. I think it's more likely that they go 2-3 in those games. Mm-hmm. I think it's more likely they go 9-3. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I would be surprised if they go 10-2. Got you.
Yep. And like I said, and then the last 4 games, Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin, and playing Northwestern. Depending on how Wisconsin is flowing that day, but Illinois should beat them. And then
they should
got Northwestern.
Yeah. They should win those last 4 games. It's just really the 5 that I was saying are going to be tough. They're going to pretty much have to go 3-2 in those 5 toughest games, and then they're going to have to run the table, not slip up anywhere else, and that's a lot to ask. I think 9-3 seems a little bit more likely.
I'm just looking at matchups. I'm looking at advantages. Now, the one thing about that traveling, and you brought this up a couple weeks ago when we were talking, because Michigan has to travel to USC. Switching time zones like that and everything, your body has to get right, your mind has to get right, this, that, and the third. Yep. That's going to be more of a mental game than anything. And because USC coming to y'all. No, y'all going there.
Yeah, we're going there.
Washington's coming to y'all.
Yep.
See, so it's going to be those West Coast games are going to be very, very interesting, if you will, to see how the teams react and play and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And that could have some bearing on something. I don't think it'll have much bearing, but it could in certain cases. And so, but y'all going to USC, Washington's coming to y'all, and then Illinois goes to Washington.
Yeah, that's a tough place to play. That's a tough game. I would pick Washington to win that game right now. Obviously, we have a lot to see and a lot of time before then, but Washington is a tough place to play, and I think Washington's going to be better than people think. So I would definitely I would choose Washington to win. I would choose Illinois to lose that game, and then I would choose them to lose the Ohio State game. And then I could see them losing at Indiana too, because Indiana is going to be pretty good, and that's on the road too. And then USC and Duke, those are kind of 2 toss-up games. So yeah, I definitely think Illinois is going to go 8-4 or 9-3. So to answer the original question, I think they are getting a little bit overhyped if you look at it like that. Because the way people are talking is that they're going to make the college football playoff, and I just don't see that happening.
Nah, I've said that they will be okay, but I've never put them in college football playoff status.
No, I haven't either yet.
I have not put them in that status. Now, luck of the ball bounce here, ball bounce here, field goal there, playing good defense here or there in games that like basically an Ohio State, because that's the only. Let me go back to them right quick. That's the only, Ohio State. Yeah, that's it.
That's certainly possible too. It's certainly possible that they're a little bit better than we're thinking, and they go 11-1, only lost to Ohio State, and kind of run the table. And that is certainly in the range of possibilities also, but I don't think it's the most likely thing to happen.
Right.
But yeah, we're going to find out.
We will see. What's up, Huggy? What's up? What's up with you? Good to see you, my man. Glad that you came in and joined us. That's the #1 Auburn resident right there, Jacob.
Okay.
Oh, he's an Auburn fanatic. That's my brother. He's one of the good dudes, because some of those other Auburn guys are very delusional. They're very delusional. But speaking of Washington, again, welcome to Big Ten Tuesday with our brother Jacob, who's the Michigan guru. Here's Washington. Washington has really 4 returning starters, Jacob. 4. According to Athlon, they have 4. 3 on offense, 1 on defense. But it's their schedule.
By chance, does that name who the returning starters are?
Yeah.
I know they got their running back Coleman, they got Denzel Boston, and who's their third one?
Drew Azzapardi, the right tackle.
Yeah, you could kind of throw their quarterback in there too, because he did play a lot last season. He's pretty good, but yeah, they don't have much returning.
And then on defense, they have Prysock, the cornerback.
Okay.
And everyone else is they're playing. I either it's a transfer or someone that they're plugging in from the bench, and everything. And it's the same way it is on offense. It's the same way. But their schedule is almost, watch this, Jacob, Colorado State, and then UC Davis. Then they go to Washington State. Then they play Ohio State. They go to Maryland. They play Rutgers. They come to UAll. They play Illinois. They go to Wisconsin. They play Purdue. They go to UCLA. And then they play Oregon. When I say they play Oregon in Seattle. Oregon comes to Washington to play. So this could be one of those teams. I'm not going to put them in the playoffs either, but their schedule favors them too.
Yeah, I'm not going to put them in the playoff conversation yet either, but the one game that I would circle on their schedule is week 4, I think it is, versus Ohio State at home, Husky Stadium. That's going to be a pumped-up game and a pumped-up crowd, a tough place to play. Michigan played there last year. It's a very tough, loud place to play. And especially they should probably be 3-0. They should have no problem with Colorado State and UC Davis, obviously. But the Apple Cup, I believe it is Washington State. That's always a tough game. But I assume they should win that. Washington State doesn't probably have the same level of talent as Washington anymore. But if they start that season 3-0 and then they host Ohio State coming in, that's going to be a game I'm going to circle as a trap game for Ohio State, as we talked about traveling to the West Coast. I think teams last year that traveled 2 time zones in the Big Ten, either west to east or east to west, either way, I think they were like 6-27. So it does have a big impact on the game. It's just tough to do, especially for college. It's not like the NFL where they're more used to it and they leave however many days in advance. It's a little different in college, so that travel does play a big factor. So that's the game I have circled for Washington, just that Ohio State game. So I think that's going to be a really good big game.
And also remember, every time Ohio State has went west to play, they've lost, basically, in a regular season.
Just about like Michigan, honestly. It's tough. I don't think they give that factor of the travel enough consideration. It's tough. Like I said, I think I saw last year teams were 6-27, so that's really tough.
Yeah, because Ohio State did lose to Oregon in Eugene. Yep. And that's not the only time Ohio State has lost out there. They've lost out that way before. So history suggests to us, Jacob, that Ohio State does not fare well on the West Coast. And like you said, so if you circle that game, just go there with history in mind that Ohio State does not play well on the West Coast.
To me, like, people have been talking, like, when people talk about Ohio State's schedule, they talk about Illinois primarily as the trap game. But for me, I view it as Washington much, much more, just because of the travel, just because of everything like that. And I think Washington has a higher ceiling with their quarterback. Illinois' quarterback, Luke Altmaier, he's a good player, but I don't think he quite has the ceiling. He's kind of just a safe, consistent little quarterback, where I think Washington's quarterback, Demon Williams, really has high upside, like really could really take over and really give Washington a high ceiling as a team. So yeah, I think that's Ohio State's biggest trap game, definitely at Washington, more so than Illinois.
Right. And so I was going to say something else right there. It's just going to be interesting right there. Hey, good morning, the one and only B Sharp in the house. What's up, brother? Good morning. Roll Tide to you, my man. Great show last night with B Sharp, man. With man, we learned some things last night about the Alabama Crimson Tide, but on today with Big Ten Tuesday with Jacob. Also, Jacob, let's look at another factor with Washington. Well, let's look at let's go to Michigan. Let's look at Michigan right quick. We're going Big Ten because today and next week will be the last times that we just per se do predictions and this, that, and the third analysis, because the following week we have action. We have action. And we're going to be, all of the talk, all of the predictions, all of the this and the analyzing and the this, that, and the third about the team as in the offseason will be over. And now we're going to be talking about the prediction and the analysis and this, that, and the third as they play everything now moving forward. And so it's going to have a whole different feel to it. And so here we go. Jacob, let's talk about Bryce Underwood. We know he was just wanted all over the place. And we remember, and all of us that kind of kept up with recruiting, even just a smidgen of a bit, knew that Bryce Underwood was going to LSU. What stopped that? Let's talk business for a minute. What stopped that? What changed that whole trajectory? What stopped that transaction from taking place?
Yeah, so I think it was really just like a perfect storm of events in Michigan's favor. A lot of people don't know this, but Jim Harbaugh didn't even actually recruit Bryce Underwood. There's a whole long story. Bryce Underwood's high school coach didn't really care for Jim Harbaugh. They had some issues going on about camps, and they just didn't really get along and see eye to eye. And the high school Bryce Underwood went to, for one, is like pretty much one of the biggest powerhouses, pipelines in Michigan, Belleville High School. Actually, you guys would be familiar with Damon Payne. He played for Alabama, was a defensive tackle. He just transferred back to Michigan, but he's from that high school. So that high school produces a lot of good big-time players, right? And Jim Harbaugh didn't have a good relationship with their coach. So when Sharon Moore took the job, he hopped in that recruitment super late and started building that relationship. Obviously it was late. It was his senior season, so that's a lot of ground to make up. And then it was, like I said, really a perfect storm of events. If you guys remember last year, you guys, of course, remember when you guys played LSU, you guys played at LSU in that night game. It was a rainy game. Bryce Underwood was actually there on a visit, and there was all these reports that he left early because LSU just got the belt. You guys gave him belt to ass right there. That was awesome. That helped us too. There was a lot of reports saying that he left early. He didn't have very much fun, and you guys just spoiled the parade for him. So that helped Michigan. And then obviously the elephant in the room that everyone talks about. Yeah, we did offer him a lot of money too. We offered him a good financial situation that LSU couldn't match. Either they could, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't want to speak on LSU's NIL situation. Either they couldn't match it or they didn't want to match it. And yeah, we offered him a good financial situation and the opportunity. He knew at Michigan he was going to have the opportunity to be a starter right away from year one, which at LSU wasn't going to happen. They have Garrett Nussmeier. He's a Heisman favorite, really. There was no chance of Bryce Underwood starting over him in year one, no matter how good he was going to be. But there was a lot of, there was a lot of factors that came out. He said he had a girlfriend in Michigan that obviously makes a difference. He's 20 minutes away now compared to LSU. He wanted to play for Michigan his whole life as a kid. He just didn't like Jim Harbaugh, and sometimes that happens. He didn't have a good relationship with Harbaugh, and then Harbaugh left, and things kind of changed. And yeah, obviously, just the financial situation too obviously helped, and it was really a perfect storm of events. So I always joke around and say thanks to Alabama. Thanks for putting that beating on LSU last year. And you guys did us a favor. You guys actually made Bryce Underwood leave the game early. So in a weird way, you guys helped us, and you helped yourselves too, because you probably wouldn't want Underwood at LSU.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this: it was our pleasure doing business with you, Michigan. Make mine. I'm like Fred Sanford. Make mine out the cash.
That was a crazy game. I couldn't believe that game last year. You guys
I believed it. JB, you're gonna love this. We were all sitting there watching that game, and we were just so rudely interrupted. I ain't calling no name, but we were so rudely interrupted watching the game. We were watching it, through computer and all that good stuff, our cell phones and all that kind of stuff. And, we were rudely interrupted. And the governor spoke and said, "We're not going anywhere. We're going to finish watching the game." I wish I could have seen when Bryce Underwood left with those thousands of LSU fans.
Yeah, there was a lot of reports.
Quick, man.
That during that game was really when the recruitment was really hot, and Michigan was really trying to flip him, and almost every little thing that he would do, it would be just reported on. And there, a LSU staff member came up to one of his high school games in Michigan, and Underwood went down there, and yeah, every little thing at that point was getting detailed. And I remember that game. They said Bryce Underwood left before halftime. LSU was losing so bad, and it was raining, and he didn't have a fun time. So it was just funny. I always joke around and say you guys helped us out a lot, but you helped yourselves too, because I don't think you would want him at LSU. You play them every single year, so.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, he would have found out. He would have found out too. Yeah. Playing against the Tide, that don't play with us like that. We ain't playing with you, man. We ain't playing. But so Bryce Underwood is there, and what are some of the pieces? Now here's your chance, and I'm telling you that I'm Michigan's my second team that's going to, really my first team that's going to rise from the bottom of the, after the top 12. Michigan's the team that's watching. I don't think nothing's going to happen to them. So folks that's waiting on Michigan to get this big punishment from the NCAA, I think you can come up for air now. Stop holding your breath. Come on up for air. There's nothing going to happen to them, everything. So let's talk about the pieces around Bryce Underwood. Who does he? We know he has Justice Haynes. We've got that part. But who besides Justice Haynes?
So we got Jordan Marshall. So they're talking that's going to be our 1-2 punch of Haynes and Marshall. The way they're talking, that's going to be a really good running back duo, better than what we had last season when we had Donovan Edwards and Kalel Mullings. So I'm really excited for that 1-2 punch. I think Jordan Marshall played in the bowl game against you guys last year and looked really good. He had over 100 yards. And then Justice Haynes, we're all really excited for him. I know Bama fans have had mixed opinions on him. but the report so far is that he's looking really good. He's a really physical runner. These are all the reports I'm hearing. Obviously, on Saturdays when the lights are bright, we're going to find out, but we're excited about that. And then the receiver position is really one of our biggest concerns. We did bring in Donovan McCulley, who is a transfer from Indiana, who had a lot of production 2 years ago, and then he got hurt last year. But he did earn the number 1 jersey in practice, which at Michigan, if you get the number 1 or the number 2, you pretty much really have to earn it. You know, that's just a special jersey that they don't hand out for no reason. So the coaches have been raving about Donovan McCulley. He's a big physical threat that can get down the field. He's going to be our outside threat. So we're excited about him. And then our other receivers are the ones that are really going to have to step up. We got guys like Fred Moore and Samaj Morgan who've been in the program for a few years. And then we have some young guys that we're excited about. Marsh, I believe Andrew Marsh is his name. He was a top 150 receiver. He's a true freshman, but there's been a lot of buzz about him, saying he's been flashing in camp so far. And as we pretty much all know, wide receiver is the easiest position to get on the field as a true freshman, I believe. So if you're good enough, you know, receiver's a spot, and especially at Michigan where we need receivers so badly. So that's going to be our big question mark, really. But as you guys know, just from watching football, if you have a good quarterback, that can cover up a lot of receiver. You know, if you have a good quarterback and he can put that ball where it needs to be, the receivers are most likely going to be fine. I mean, how many times have you seen like a great quarterback? I'm not saying Bryce Underwood's going to be great his first year, but just good quarterbacks can make do with bad receivers. You see Patrick Mahomes do it all the time. Tom Brady used to do it. Obviously, those are the best of the best, but just kind of in a general point, the better your quarterback is, it can cover up a lot of receiver just inefficiency. So, that's pretty much our big question. And then tight end, we have a pretty good tight end, Marlon Klein. He's not going to be a Colston Loveland by any means. Obviously, a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, but we're excited about him. And for me, my biggest question mark is just our O-line, really.
Right.
So
y'all
if our O-line is good, then
y'all got Evan Link coming back, Giovanni coming back, and Crippen coming back. Your center, left guard, and left tackle, all on that weak side there.
Our offensive line has 4 guys pretty much solidified as starters. At right tackle, we're starting Andrew Sprague, who played at the end of last year. He did well. And then at right guard, we got Nate Afobe, who's a big mauler. He's going to be really good run blocker. And then center, like you said, we got Crippen. And then at left guard, we got El Hadi. And then left tackle is actually still a battle in camp right now. It's between Evan Link. It's between the 5-star freshman Babalola, who they're raving about. And then it's between Blake Frazier. So the left tackle job is wide open in a 3-man race right now. But besides that, we're excited for the offense. I'm really excited to see Chip Lindsey's new offensive scheme. I think people are going to be surprised, and I think Michigan's going to throw the ball a little bit more than you guys are used to.
And so, and on defense, you have 6 returning starters. You have Derek Moore, Ernest Hausman, Jashawn Barham, Jair Hill, Zeke Berry, and Rod Moore. And so, excuse me, Michigan is going to be okay, but let's put it all together for Michigan. Let's put it all together. And looking at their schedule, looking at their roster and everything, will Michigan be one of those teams that as they go, they'll get better like week to week to week? Is that the potential of all of that, Jacob?
Yeah, I think Michigan will be a team like that for sure, just because of our offensive situation. Last year, the defense started off slow. If you remember the Texas game, it was Wink Martindale's first year at Michigan. We were just our defense in the beginning of last year was not playing well at all, but then by the end of the season, when we played Ohio State and Alabama, we were playing like a top 5 defense in the country. So hopefully that confidence and just continuity carries over to this season and we won't start off so slow. But if we pick up where we left off from last season, and I know you mentioned the 6 starters, I would even throw in a couple more guys like Rayshon Benny. He's been starter quality for a couple years. He's just been behind Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. So he's good. The numbers don't say he's a starter, but he's one of the best returning tackles in the country. And then also TJ Guy as the other edge. He wasn't a starter either, but he's really good. So I'm not worried about our defense. I think our front 7 could be one of the best in all of college football. Up there with Texas and Bama and
on that, you got you were talking about those that could come in and possibly be starters. You got Damon Payne, you got Dominic Nichols, some of these names I can't even pronounce, but
Cam Brandt, is he on there? Cam Brandt's another guy that our defensive line coach said basically a pseudo starter is along with Moore and Guy. He said he's the same quality and same caliber, so he's basically listed as a starter. Our defensive line coach said that we're about 10 guys deep on the defensive line, 6 interior guys that are all like starter quality with Trey Williams, Damon Payne, Benny. There's a few more I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. And then on the edges, you got Guy, Moore, Dom Nichols, and Cam Brandt. So yeah, I think our defensive line is going to be absolutely really good. And then our linebacker should be good. And then, I'm intrigued to see how Rod Moore does. He's coming off that really bad injury and he had a setback and all that. So we'll see. But if Rod Moore can get back to form of how he was playing in 2023, a lot of people forgot or don't remember or whatever. But Rod Moore is like an All-American caliber player. He made one All-American team. It wasn't like one of the big ones or whatever, but he was that good. Like people forgot about him because he hasn't played in so long. But if he can get back to his form, that's just going to make the whole defense that much better. So we'll see. I'm not even sure if he's going to be ready to play by week 1 or not, but I'm hoping eventually he gets back.
So Michigan, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna answer Amber's question right quick. Where do you see Michigan at the end of the day?
I'm going to stick with 10-2. I'm saying 10-2 I'll be happy with, and that's my prediction, and that's the standard that I think we need to be at. We have a good enough defense, and our passing game is going to be automatically better no matter what, just because of how bad it was last year. And Bryce Underwood's talent level alone, even if he is a true freshman, it's going to be miles better than last year. Plus, add all that together with Wink Martindale's second year in his defensive system. Our defense should be good enough to win us some games alone. And then we have a really good running attack, 2-headed running attack with Marshall and Haynes. And if we just can play complementary football, if Bryce Underwood can just protect the ball, not make any just dumb mistakes, he doesn't have to be a hero, and just run the air out of the ball, make the plays ahead of you, play good defense. We have the best kicker in the country, which is huge. People don't think about in those tight ball games. We have the best kicker, that's a big advantage. And really just don't turn the ball over, Underwood, please. Just when you look at DJ Lagway last year, he threw a lot of interceptions in a lot of big moments. Kind of, it's pretty normal for true freshmen, but just, if he can just manage that game. If you guys remember how Michigan was in 2021 when we made the playoffs, we had Cade McNamara. That was before J.J. McCarthy was a starter. If Bryce Underwood can just be a Cade McNamara his first year, I think we can go 10-2. And then you add all that together with a pretty easy, favorable schedule. I'm gonna be disappointed if we don't at least go 10-2. I know a lot of people think that might be lofty, but with the team that we got, I think that we should do it.
I hear you. Jacob, I'm going to say this, bro. and I've said this before to you, the Oklahoma game will be the most pivotal game that y'all play on the season. In my little unsolicited opinion, that Oklahoma game, I'm not going to say it's going to sway your season one way or the other because I'm sitting here looking at it. I don't think so, and I can understand you're 10-2. But Jacob, if y'all go into Norman and beat them, y'all will go undefeated in the regular season. Nobody, and that includes Ohio State because they're coming to y'all this year. I know that sounds kind of lofty, but Michigan is one of those teams that when sometimes there's a certain game that y'all might be favored to lose, but when y'all win that game, y'all hit this stride where it's hard to beat y'all. And I believe it's going to be the Oklahoma game, Jacob, because that is the second game, and y'all will gain the momentum from there. And I've said it from the onset of the show that y'all will be that team that I'm watching to rise from the ashes and when I call the ashes, below that 12 spot in the college football playoffs, and y'all will rise, and therefore Illinois won't get there. And the way that the top 12 is set up as of today, it might be a couple of other teams might not get there, Jacob. So Michigan is my team that I'm gonna watch for y'all. Now, Coach Carl, good to see on the Block Sports with Coach Carl, my brother, the wise one, And so glad to see you. Glad to see Double L, Larry Lodge. Good to see you, my man. Good to see everybody in the chat. All 28 of y'all in the chat. Good morning. Roll Tide and go, whomever y'all pulling for. All that good stuff. But before I go any further, Amber Nicole's question been sitting in the chat for a minute. So let's answer it. Panel Man, how do you feel about Bama's AP poll ranking? I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be honest with you, and don't get mad with me for saying this. They could have dropped us lower if they wanted to. Let me fight for something. Let me fight for it. I said it last night. I'm going to say it again. Alabama does better when we are the hunter versus being the hunted. We learned that lesson last year. We learned that lesson. What's up, Ephraim? We learned that lesson last year. It was like after we beat Georgia, we began to play like this. We were just fumbling and stumbling. But when we go after what we're wanting and we keep a hunter's mentality, I think we're a better team. And so with that being said, I'm fine with the ranking. They could have even dropped us a little lower and let us claw and scratch our way, because here's my problem. And Jacob, you can comment on this too. When after week 1, you're going to have some shakeups. And B Sharp talked about this last night on his show. You will have shakeups. They're evident. There's no way around it. Week 1, week 2, week 3. But JB made a statement yesterday and said by week 4, we'll know, along with almost everybody else, where your team stands, what you're looking at. By week 4, Jacob, should Michigan, so that will be New Mexico, Oklahoma, Central Michigan, by the Nebraska game, will a lot of questions be answered about Michigan?
Oh, yeah. After week 4, we'll know everything we need to know. If Michigan is 3-1 or better, I'll be happy if we split, because just the way I look at Michigan's schedule this year is we really have 4 hard games. You have at Oklahoma, at Nebraska, at USC, and then Ohio State, obviously, to end the season. So we really need to split those 4 games. We need to find a way to go 2-2, and then we just can take care of business, and the rest of our schedule is pretty easy. We play Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland. We play some pretty easy teams. Michigan State, there's a couple tricky games in there, but that's essentially the 4 really tough games of our schedule. So after the 4th week of the season, if we're 3-1 or better, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. We split the Nebraska and Oklahoma game. Obviously 4-0 is just amazing. If we're 4-0, we're dangerous and we might go 12-0. But if we're 3-1 or better, I'll be happy with it. You split 2 tough road games. That's a pretty good result with a true freshman quarterback. And then obviously if we're 2-2, that's really bad and I'm not going to be happy. And then obviously worse than 2-2 is just unthinkable and just impossible. But if we're 2-2, I'm not going to be happy and vibes are going to be pretty down. So we need to at least be 3-1 after 4 weeks. And 4 weeks is actually the perfect amount of time with our schedule to know exactly what we're going to be.
Now Jake, by the end of, let me see. So JB saying by the 3rd week of October is what I said now. All right. I think that's too long, JB. I think that's too long. I was
going to say, what's that about week 7, week 8? By then, yeah, we're going to know what Michigan is. We're going to know for sure.
I think that's going to be too long. But I respect your analysis right there.
F-Rom is laughing at me in the chat. Yeah, F-Rom, if Michigan's worse than 2-2, man, it's going to be – that's unfathomable. We can't even think like that. 2-2 is going to be horrible. We're all going to be crashing out if we're 2-2. You cannot lose to Oklahoma and Nebraska both. You got to find a way to split those games. Obviously, 4-0 is gravy. 4-0 is obviously the goal. If we're good enough to do that, that's great, but you got to find a way to win one of the two or the season is going to be chalked after 4 games.
I think 4th week. I got to go back up here. Somebody else.
We are favorites over Nebraska. They put the line at 3.5. So we're 3.5 point favorites on the road versus Nebraska, and we're 2.5 point underdogs to Oklahoma right now. So you guys can take that for what it's worth. Obviously, it's just a good indication. Obviously, it doesn't always mean anything, but that's kind of the situation.
Hug is a proud member of No Nation. God bless you, Huggy. Oh, wow. Let's see. Let me see. Somebody else wrote something else. Double A, there she is. I got to scroll back right quick. It was somebody else because I started and I'm trying to find it. It was a statement that was made. I be speed reading all the time, Jacob. And there it is. Oh, yeah, here we go. Jeff. Good morning, Jeff. Gentlemen, in your opinion, which players will separate themselves this season? Well, first of all, congratulations to Ty Simpson being named a starter last night, yesterday, however you want to put that, for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We all figured that was coming and everything, even though I'm just going to go on record and say I've been saying whoever it be, but in my heart, I sort of, not that I didn't want Ty, I wanted to see Austin get it because everybody put him down. And nobody's giving Austin Mack much of a chance to even play. It's either Ty or it's Keeline. And nobody has given much attention to Austin. And Austin can sling that ball just as good as the other two. But congratulations, however, Ty has been named starter. Now I've heard some, to answer your question, Jeff, I'm going to say it's hard to say on offense. Everybody's dependent on Ryan. And, then you have some talk about Germ and you got some talk about Isaiah and everything. But I'm going to have to go on offense. I'm going to go with an unconventional pick. It won't be Ty. It won't be Jam. It won't even be Ryan. I'm going to have to go with Caden Proctor. He's going to have to separate himself. He's got to be the leader. And that tackle spot over there is a sore spot for Alabama. So I'm saying it as a sense of separation to answer your question, but I'm also putting the pressure on that's where leadership is going to have to take place, because that's where we had some issues last year, right there at the tackle spot. So I'm going to go with Caden Proctor right there. On the defensive side of the ball, separate themselves. That's a good question, Jeff, but I'm going to have to say Rousseau. Those other players, I mean, somebody's got to do the doggone thing. Rousseau, Justin Jefferson, LT Overton, Tim Keenan. It's too many to choose from. It's all going to depend on who it is, but that's just my pick. Damani Jackson, Bray Hubbard. I mean, it's too many to pick. It's just too many to pick of who will separate themselves. You did say players, plural. So, but I don't know. I don't know, Jeff. Just too many to pick for me. I wish they would all separate themselves and just come on with it and let's end this thing early. But I just have to wait and see. And in this case, I'm gonna take the governor's approach. Governor, me and Governor be having good conversation a lot of times. I'm gonna take the governor's approach, and by the third week in October, and we all know who we played in. By that time, I'll know who's separated themselves. Matter of fact, we probably be known it beforehand, but by the time we play Tennessee, it's gonna be. We'll know who's the alpha in the room. We're gonna know on both sides of the ball. We're going to know. That's how I see it now. But as of 8/12, 2025 in the year of our Lord, it's hard for me to even fathom who I think will be the separated themselves this season. The season hasn't started yet. And we don't hear that much coming out of practice like we do, you know. And then they don't scrimmage again until Saturday. So we'll know here after a while. Coach Carl.
Latoya said she had a question. I didn't even see her question. Sorry about that.
She said, you know what? Wait a minute.
Did she have a question?
Ask your question again, because the chat is rolling and so I don't get a chance to see it. Ask your question again, Latoya. You know I don't ignore questions. Just ask the question again and you got it. Larry Lodge said week 4 UGA will tell us what we need to know. I got you. Now, this is what the governor said. This is why he said it's midterm. Everybody been in school know after midterm, you know where you stand. If you need to make up some credit or overachieve, got you. I understand. I got you.
I think the problem with what he's saying, though, is by the third week of October, your season could be cooked. You don't have time. Like, you know what I mean? You're, I don't know. I just think for Michigan this year personally, I think we're going to know a lot sooner than that. But by the third week of October, you know, your season could be over. If things go sideways, you're done.
That part of the reason why I'm of the persuasion that, like I said, number one, X factor injuries, you know, and then everything else that I brought to the table. But for Alabama, injuries, this, that, and the third. But I also understand which way governor's looking at it from. Week 4, we're either 4-0 or 3-1. Gotcha. Yeah, I believe we're going to be 4-0. I believe we're going to be 4-0. I'm believing in in that whole affirmative. But you all, Jacob, I'm waiting on Latoya's question.
Oh, I see it. She said, "How do you feel about Coach Moore? Do you think he will be Michigan's coach for the next 5 years?"
Okay.
Lot to prove still. After the way the beginning of last season went, I was pretty much ready to fire him already, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's because he didn't get us a transfer quarterback last year, and he pretty much wasted our whole season, and he wasted our whole defense because we had uh 2 first-round defensive tackles, and then we had Will Johnson, who should have went in the first round. He's pretty much going to be one of the biggest steals in the draft, and he wasted that defense. He didn't get us a transfer portal quarterback. So when he did that, a lot of people were out on him, and we were just like so mad. And he also made a lot of in-game coaching mistakes that Harbaugh never made. So he has a lot to prove, but he kind of got back in the good graces of the fans because he beat Ohio State. He beat Bama, which that bowl game really didn't mean a lot, honestly. Neither team was happy to be there. We both have higher goals. But the main thing he did do is he landed Bryce Underwood, which rejuvenated the program and gave us a bright future and gave us just a boost of energy. So he kind of bought himself some time, but he has a lot to prove. If he doesn't turn it around, no, I don't think he'll be there in 5 years, but it's really all up to him. So it's hard for me to predict that. I think we're going to be good the next few years with Bryce Underwood. So, I could see him being there in 5 years, but he still has a lot to prove. He's pretty much still an unproven head coach. Last year was his transition year. Kind of like Kalen DeBoer, he didn't have the greatest first year. The first year taking over a program is usually kind of tough. So this year is going to be Sharon Moore's year to prove it, and then obviously the next couple years with Bryce Underwood, we got to compete for championships, Big Ten championships, national championships, and we got to get back to that level, or Sharon Moore is going to be out the door.
Yep, and I didn't agree with you.
A lot to prove still.
Yeah, and even here, Double A says, Piano Man, Bama don't have time to play around this season. She got a period at the end of that sentence. I mean, I can just stay right there and preach a whole sermon and give a whole dissertation that you don't have time to play around this season. You got to come out of the gate throwing strikes. You got to come out of there firing on all cylinders. Now, I understand that there will be mistakes, but what happens is you can't wallow in those mistakes. They can't just sit there and stay there and everything. You got to come on out and correct them and everything, because which leads to the next sentence when she says, if a player isn't working out, bench him, and don't be afraid to bench him. And it don't matter who it is. If they're not working out, and that's been a problem at Bama, and bench them. But then by that same token, there was really nobody ready to replace him. And then that's where the governor comes in and says, has been saying, and that's where coaching and developing and things, this, that, and the other comes in. Players got to buy in. The players got to buy in too. So there's a lot of responsibility on both sides. So I'm in agreement with Double A and with Coach Carl. Bench him.
I see a few comments. Larry asked about Damon Payne, if he's starting at Michigan. He's in the rotation. Defensive lineman, you rotate a lot. He's not going to be a starter, but he's going to get a lot of run and a lot of playing time. The coaches have raved about him. We have about six guys deep at the defensive tackle position, or the interior of the D-line. So we're excited about him. He's from Michigan originally. Like I said, he wanted to go to Alabama, and then it didn't work out exactly for him. I mean, he was a pretty decent player for you guys, but so yeah. And then other comment, Coach Carl says Moore won the championship, not Jim Harbaugh. I see what you're saying somewhat, because Moore was the OC and he played a huge part of the team, and he also worked with the O-line. But the culture and everything that was created in the development was mostly, I would say, Harbaugh. That's the one thing that we really miss, because And the in-game coaching, that's another thing people don't think a lot about, is the actual in-game coaching decisions. There was times last year where Sharon Moore would wait 30 seconds to take a timeout just unnecessarily, or just rookie coaching mistakes, which are bound to happen. But you didn't see Jim Harbaugh make those. He had so much experience, and he's really one of the best football coaches around. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. JB says, one aspect we don't factor in is that's weather. What do you think? Go ahead. Jacob, you answer that question.
I think especially more so for my team where we play a little bit more than you guys. You guys might have to deal with a little rain. Like last year, we were talking about the LSU game. That was pretty much like a monsoon, just super rainstorm. But yeah, up here, when we play Ohio State, a lot of the times it's snow. It's 10, 20 degrees. It could be lower than that. It could be 0 degrees. It could be snowstorm. It could be whatever. So yeah, especially when you're playing in the Big Ten, weather has a big factor. You get into late November, weather can play a huge factor. That is true. And when obviously it's raining or snowing, you need to be able to run the football, and you need to be able to play with a level of physicality to punch someone in the mouth, because you're not going to be able to sling the ball all over the yard when it's either raining, 0 degrees, or snowing. So that's one thing I'm happy about. Michigan usually builds their team in such a way that it's kind of almost weatherproof. When you have a good offensive line and you can run the football, that is pretty good in all elements.
Yeah. Coach Carl says he
kept the team together. Yeah, I agree. He did a great job when Jim Harbaugh was suspended. I agree. But the whole culture and the whole program was, it was Jim Harbaugh's. There's no way. I don't think the team was better under Moore. I mean, I don't think there's a debate that at this point, as Piano Man always says, as of 8/12/2025, in the year of our Lord, I don't think there's an argument that Jim Harbaugh is not a better football coach than Sharon Moore. But Sharon Moore has to prove it. Maybe one day he'll get to that level. But as of right now, I think you got to go Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Now I'm gonna say this, and we all know those of us that are Bama fans. Now, Jacob, I know you don't give a good rat's behind that Ty Simpson was named quarterback, and
I saw that.
but I'm like I was about to say, I was going for Austin Mack simply because of the fact that nobody talks about him. They it's like I said, it's either Ty or it's Keyline. Very few people talk about Austin Mack. That gets kind of personal for me, because even in my own life, I've been that guy that was in the middle. I worked just as hard as the next guy and everything, but everybody was always looking at this one or that one and the third. And so a lot of times in my own personal life, in certain things, especially in the music field, I've had to fight and just come up out of nowhere. And they say, oh, wow, he's really good. Duh. I've been trying to tell you. Yeah. But a lot of times we go on loyalty and we go on name, or we go on the hottest, trendiest, shiniest little trinket that we see and everything. And sometimes we forget about those guys that are in the middle and can do it just as good as the guys that are on the bookends. One thing I will say, and that's this. Yeah, thank you, Dino. What's up, Dino? I was going to say this too. Dylan Lonergan was named starter for Boston College. I even said this, that Dylan. Well, anyway, as of 8/12, 9:24 a.m. Congratulations to Dylan Lonergan at Boston College. You did what you had to do, player. You did what you had to do.
Well, you guys now know your top op for week 1, Dylan Lonergan. I'm not even gonna lie, I've never even heard of the dude, but hey, congrats to him for winning the job. And
yeah,
What a hell of a way to start. You play Alabama week 1, so good luck to him.
Well, no, he plays for Boston College.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, Boston College. Okay, I thought you meant Florida State. Okay.
No. He played.
Yep.
But what's ironic about that, though, now, Boston College, former quarterback Castellanos plays for Florida State. But somewhere along the line, Boston College plays Florida State this year. That's gonna be
makes sense. Yeah,
that's
right. You guys are going up against that Castellanos kid.
Yeah.
I saw some of his games last year, and he's not overly impressive. He got benched last season. He can run around. He can make plays with his feet, but he's not all that good.
Yeah. So no, Russell is not QB2. Jeff, I don't think. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I'm just putting it to you like this. What's up, Jacob Seminole fan? He's at the beach. I don't want to hear that, Jacob. But I'm going to say this. Congratulations to Ty. Congratulations to Dylan. Congratulations to Holstein at Pittsburgh. Holstein and Lonergan are two former Bama quarterbacks that have moved on, and now they are starters in a new system. Congratulations to all of them, and everyone else that has left Bama, and you're faring wherever you are. Godspeed to you. Even if we don't play you, we wish you well. This, that, and the third. But I want to say this: let's get behind our team. Like Jacob is behind Michigan. What's up, Susan? Roll Tide. Jacob is behind Susan. What's up? Let me see. Hold up. There's Tight Sports, Alabama Megacast. Austin Mack has undeniable arm talent, and who knows, UGA game could change the situation. Now, I was with Ty, and I hope he can elevate a top 3 NFL prospect and give Austin a goal in 2026. Maybe. We'll see. What's up, Tight Sports? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Roll Tide. But let's get behind Ty. Let's get behind our team. Jacob is behind his team at Michigan. Win, lose, or draw. Get to know your team. Get to know about your team. Know your starters. Know your backups. Know this. Know that. Know the other. And I'm gonna tell you, like they used to say at church years ago, boost your team and don't knock it. But by that same token, don't be afraid to say something if your team is not playing good. If the team is not playing good, we do have a right to say something because that is our team. Just because we are challenging our team to do better, that don't mean that we're trashing them. That doesn't make us a fair weather fan. So I'm going to say that, and like Jacob just said, as of 8/12/2025, when I see some negatives going on, that doesn't make me a fair weather fan. That makes me a fan that's just concerned about my team. That that just makes me a fan of my team. So I think we're going to have a fun year. I've already said it's going to be a different type year. There's going to be some teams in it that's going to make you say, where they come from? That's coming. How did they get here? They just worked their way up. And there will be some players that you don't think or that you've never heard of. They're gonna have that wow moment, and they're gonna explode on the scene. And so I think 2025 season is going to be a great year. I think I should get some blood pressure. Yeah. If you're not on blood pressure medicine, I suggest that you talk to your doctor.
It's weird how some quarterback battles can almost like divide fan bases because half of the fan base wants one guy to start and then half the fan base wants the other guy to start. But like you said, once a starter gets named, everyone should just rally around that person, and the name on the front of the jersey is more important than who's starting with the name on the back of the jersey. So I've seen other teams have stuff like that. Michigan luckily hasn't had much like that the last few years, but it really can almost divide a fan base because people get so attached to one guy that they want to start. But now that you guys name your starting quarterback, now you guys are rolling, and just support him and see how it goes. And you guys have a lot of good pieces around him, so I think he should at least be able to manage the game and at least lead you guys to wins. You know, he might not throw for 300 yards a game, but I don't think you guys have the kind of team that needs that.
We're gonna be one of my last chats right here. Amber said, Paul Feinbaum, good old Walter from Walter looking character from Jeff Dunham. Anyway, Paul Feinbaum spoke and said, Alabama's a national championship contender, and the AP poll has Bama ranked too low. Hogwash. They've got Bama ranked just right. I can take 8th. Give me something to work for. Because I'm gonna say again, I even at the 8th spot, you're still going to be the hunted in some ways, but you're also going to be the hunter. And so I would have rather been ranked just a little lower, and let's have. But you got to take on that hunter's mentality, and you're going searching, and you're going to be the dominant one, and you're going to dominate because you can't get complacent. Because this is what I was about to say. The week 1 shakeups, they're going to happen. The week 2 with Oklahoma, Michigan, that's going to happen. Week 3, you have some players here that you have some teams here and there, games here and there, possible. By the time Alabama gets ready to play Georgia, if things go according to script, and you dealing with the week 1 and week 2 shakeups now, you could have a 4 and a 5 going at it, possibly even Georgia. Because remember now, Georgia is what, 5th, 4th, 5th, something like that. 5th, yeah, they're 5th. Bama's 8th. So if they were to play today, you had an 8 and a 5 going at it. Well, we all know that somewhere along the line that in those shakeups, Jacob, somebody's going to drop. How far they drop is like what you said earlier in the chat. How far they drop, that's going to be the question.
Like if Texas loses to Ohio State, they're not going to drop out of the top 10. If Ohio State loses to Texas, they're at 3. They're probably not going to drop out of the top 10. They'll probably be like 8 or 9 or something like that. You're not going to drop that many spots for losing to a team like that. But if LSU loses or Miami loses, they're going to be out of the top 10. So there's going to be spots available, but like I said earlier, I really don't put much stock into preseason rankings. Win games, and at the end of the day, if you win games, you'll be where you need to be. In 2021, fun fact for you guys, Michigan was the only team to make the college football playoffs that started the season unranked in I'm pretty sure ever. I'm not going to say ever because the 12-team playoff might be different, but in the 4-team playoff era, I'm pretty sure Michigan 2021 was the only team to ever make the playoffs starting the season unranked. So it just goes to show win games. It all takes care of itself. If you're ranked number 8, number 5, number 6, it doesn't really matter. I know people like to look at that stuff, but that's just how I am personally. Just win games, and it'll all take care of itself. Michigan's at 14. If we beat Oklahoma, maybe we'll shoot up to the top 10, but if not, end of the season, if you have the adequate record, you're going to be in the playoffs where you need to be.
And so, and I'm going to agree with Dino right here. It only matters, coaches.
Amber said TCU 2022. Okay, they must have did that after Michigan. Yeah, Michigan did it first, I guess.
Yeah, and so, but we can be fine with Ty Keelan or Austin, and that's the positive situation Alabama actually finds themselves in, with 3 quarterbacks that can actually get the job done. And so I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the polls. I'm not worried about anything. I'm more or less worried about, will Alabama get out there and do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it?
Yeah, that's
now, when we get technical about it, when it comes down to the eye test and different things like that. Yeah, you know. But in week one, all I know is Alabama needs to come out there, put that B2A to Florida State, and let's just go on and call it a day. All the other stuff, let them figure it out. We just handle, Alabama handles the stuff that they can handle, they're supposed to handle, and don't worry about what anybody else has to do and everything.
It's kind of nice in this 12-team playoff era. It's almost like there's pretty much a set criteria. You have 12 games, find a way to win 10 of those games, and you're going to be in the playoffs where you need to be. Just it doesn't matter how. You can win them all by 1 point. You can win them all by 20 points. Just win 10 football games. It's really that simple. Rankings don't matter until the end of the season. If you win your 10 games, you're going to be there. So that's kind of how I look at it. Just figure out a way to win 10 football games. And now in the new 12-team era, that's really should be everyone's goal. Obviously, if you win more than that, that's great. But kind of how I look at it for Michigan. Just figure out a way to win 10 games. I don't care how you do it. Win them by 1 point. I don't care. But I know rankings are cool to look at, and a lot of people like them. But I don't put too much stock into them. Polls rarely translate. Georgia was number 1 going into last year. Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I agree with you. I think I saw the last 2 years, Ohio State was ranked number 2 in the AP last year, I believe, to start the season. And they won the Natty, and then the year before that, Michigan was ranked number 2 in the AP, and they won the Natty. So if we're following that, I think number 2 this year's Penn State. I don't see that happening, but that'd be crazy.
I just got a text message from somebody who's watching the show, and they said to me, they just said they would have it would have been if Mac would have been named starter, just to see how Ty would react and everything. And that's something to think about, because if two guys going at it like that, and if there is one dominant over the other one, what you don't want is for one to get complacent into thinking, oh, I got this. No, you got 2 more other guys back there that can make it happen. And somebody brought that up last night, that Ty knows what's behind him. That leash is kind of short. You know what I'm saying, Jacob? That leash is it's not a long leash. It's short. And especially when you got 2 other guys behind you that can do it just as good as you can. So you better take you got to make your shot. But only thing about it is, and I get my friend's point, but the only thing I'm saying is that as of now, if he's been named starter, get behind it. Let's not wish for, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that? Okay, if it happens, next man up. Let's go.
At this point, you don't have much of a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to just rock with whoever you got, and that's just what it is. So I think it's QB competitions are interesting. I see both sides of the coin. I know some teams like to wait until the end, like Ohio State is notorious for doing that. They like to wait till the end because I think sometimes if you name a starter too early, that person starts to relax and maybe doesn't work as hard. They say, oh, I'm the starter now. I can breathe easy and get a little bit relaxed and maybe complacent. Whereas if you don't know you're the starter, you're going to bust your butt all the way to the end. But then also on the flip side, if you do what Alabama did and name your starter on August 11th, it can kind of give your team your team's going to know who the starter is. It gives you a little bit more certainty and clarity. So it can work both ways.
Yeah.
But I don't see a problem with what Alabama did. Ohio State still hasn't named their starting quarterback. I don't know if you've been following that. Everyone assumes it's going to be Julian Sayin, but they haven't named anything yet. And some people are saying Keenholz is right there for the job. So we'll see. But Yeah, it's always interesting to follow QB competitions and try to figure out what coaches are thinking at the timing of when they name people.
Right. To answer Steven's question, and Steven, I'm gonna answer this the best way I can. The reason that there are a lot of questions about Ty, and I said I wasn't gonna say anything more about this, but when I answer this question, I'm done. I promise you I'm done. The reason is because all of the negatives about Milroe couldn't do this, Milroe couldn't do that, Milroe couldn't do the other. Ty was there and never could beat him out. He never could beat him out. Now, let me be public right here. And I'm gonna say this as an older gentleman. I'm not buying that hogwash of a story that if they had a replaced Milroe with Ty or with someone else, that it was going to bring dissension in the locker room and this, that, and the third, and players were going to walk out. Let me disprove that theory. Some of those same players at the end of last season was pissed off, yeah, I used that word, with Milroe. So all that other stuff don't wash. It doesn't wash. You can't be anyway. That's why. That's why. That's why.
I mean, Jalen Milroe added such a dynamic element with his legs where anytime he touched the ball, he could take it 70 yards. Ty Simpson, for one's not going to add that. I mean, I was just kind of rewatching the LSU Bama game from last year, and Jalen Milroe was just unstoppable. So you can see why he won the job, and he was good with the deep ball. He was inconsistent in the short intermediate passing game.
Yeah,
but
I
mean,
what got him.
Jalen Milroe, he was electric. Anytime he touched the ball, he could take it 80 yards to the house.
So that's what's wrong. And I'm gonna stop. Cause see, that's Jacob. I gotta stop. I gotta stop with that question because see. It brings up other stuff and being
I saw one question in the chat that said, I'll take this one for you and answer it because I think I know how to explain it good, and I think you're done talking about this, but the last thing I'll say, someone said, how do we know Ty is 100% the guy? And I guess I would just say you don't know in your QB situation that anyone is 100% the guy because none of them have ever started or done it. So you're going to have to leave some of it up to fate. Some of it you're just going to have to trust in. I know people love certainty and people hate the unknown and people hate not knowing things just in general. And, you don't have a returning quarterback that's really freaking good. And that you're just gonna have to trust a lot of it this year. None of the three guys that you had have ever proven anything, so you're just gonna have to believe in them, and you're just gonna have to. There was no option that was 100% that you were gonna know was good. Some years are like that. Some years you return a Bryce Young or you return a Tua, and you're 100%, but that wasn't this year. So I think. From what I can see in the chat, it looks like a lot of Bama fans are having anxiety about the unknown. But I would just say relax, take a deep breath, and trust in the coaching staff.
Yeah, and that's why I said I'm done with it because when you've heard some of the things and read some of the things that I read about Milroe and everything, as a fan, it made me disappointed. But as a parent, and I'm not Jalen's dad. I ain't saying that. But from a dad's perspective, to hear these folks say this ungodly stuff about my son, oh yeah, it would have been curtain for somebody. But Coach Carl said we knew the quarterback was, but I was not going to say it. As a coach, we don't disrespect our players when they are competitively fighting. And that's what that was. But just answering Steven's question, and Coach Carl is exactly right. Everybody already knew. We kind of felt it. But some people are still hollering about, I don't know if anybody was watching Miller's Edge, listening to Miller's Edge yesterday, but someone just came out the gate trashing Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe playing for the Seattle Seahawks. And Christian Miller told him, why can't you just let it go? Let it go. So, dang tight. Nick Slick shared. Check this out, Jacob.
Yeah, Nick Sheridan probably played a big role in it too. Now you guys have Ryan Grubb. He's worked with Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
You have a quarterback that's going to fit his system a little bit better. That should be more of a precision passer. You guys should be better with Ryan Grubb for sure, and a quarterback that fits his scheme more. So, like I said, you guys just are going to have to trust in that. And kind of the vibe I'm getting right now is a lot of Bama fans have anxiety because they've never seen Ty Simpson do it. But
from the start,
I would say a lot of teams are in the similar situation. Michigan is in the similar situation. Ohio State, Oregon. I mean, a lot of Notre Dame. So we're all just going to have to kind of believe a little bit and wait and see what happens. But there was no 100% certain guy this year for you guys.
And like I said from the word go, over half of the SEC this year is starting brand new quarterbacks. So Bama's not the only one. I mean, we just worry about
Bama.
I'm
saying. There's a lot of people around the country that are anxious right now and nervous.
Yeah.
So, when you return a guy like Cade Klubnik or you return a Garrett Nussmeier, it's just such like it gives you like that safety blanket feeling. Like, okay, we got a stud at quarterback, we're good. But then anytime you have to break in a new guy, it is like a little bit of a scary feeling. So I get how you guys are feeling, but I just got to believe in Ty Simpson.
Yeah, so I'm just going to end it there. But thankful for everybody. Jacob, as always, every Tuesday, your spot. I was trying to get Ohio State guy to come on and be with us and everything, but I'm coming to find out that camera's not made for everybody. And and I can understand them having apprehension about coming on, whatever. So every Tuesday it is Piano Man and Underwood Unleashed.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun when we get to the season. We only have a couple more weeks of this, and then we'll be talking about real games.
Yeah, and I was telling someone last night. I said, what's gonna be crazy is this right here. I said, we're gonna be all excited. First game comes, all excited. We go through the season, and then by the time we get to December, reality gonna set in that it's about to be over, and then we're going to be going back into another depression. So this
hopefully
is why I'm saying Alabama has to win.
Hopefully, one of our teams this year will be playing late into January, playing for something important. So hopefully at least one of our teams can do that this year.
And so I'm gonna put the last one up there, and that's to say, out of the first time starter, I believe Ty and Austin Simmons are in the best position. Yeah, and I'm with you, LaToya. I'm with you.
And I would throw in Arch Manning. I don't know if you guys consider him a first-time starter because of his weird situation last year where he played, he didn't play. But I would throw in Arch Manning. I like his situation at Texas a lot too.
Yeah, he's in a good situation. He's in a good situation from a media perspective, but I believe Texas is going to struggle a little bit. Texas is going to struggle a little bit. I believe they will. I'm still not convinced that Texas is going to win the SEC. Georgia whipped them twice last year. I believe Georgia's going to get them again.
You know what? You know how we've been kind of talking about, well, by week 4, we're going to know this or we're going to know that, or someone in the chat said by October, 3rd week of October. For Texas, you're going to know what Texas is all about in about 18 days.
Yeah.
You're going to know everything. I mean, obviously they can improve. They could have a bad game or something like that. But you're going to know for the most part what Texas is all about in 18 days. They travel to Columbus, Ohio. They travel to the Horseshoe versus a very good Ohio State team. You know, you're going to know what Texas is all about. If Texas goes in there and beats Ohio State by double digits or something, you know, they're going to be scary. But, you know, maybe Arch Manning will suck. Maybe he'll go in there and the lights will be too bright and he'll look like a deer in the headlights and he'll suck. Who knows? That's possible too. But you're not going to have to wait long and you're going to know what Texas is all about.
And I'm of the firm persuasion in that Texas and Ohio State game, when you put it in the way that you just put it, it's also going to kind of show you what Ohio State is going to sort of be
Yeah,
about.
exactly, for sure. That's going to, like I said, you're not going to wait long to know what either of those two teams are about. If one of them blows out the other one or something, which I don't really foresee happening. If it did happen that way, I would be pretty surprised. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, but yeah, it's cool for those two teams. You don't got to wait long.
Yeah, and so
Arch hasn't been tested yet. His family, yeah, he hasn't been tested in a big game yet.
Like you said, week one is going. Yeah,
it doesn't get much harder or bigger than playing at Ohio State. That's tough.
Playing at the shoe. I'm just saying, and so it's really going to be interesting. So August the 30th is going to be a great day, but actually, like Dwight was saying earlier, the season actually starts, Jacob, next week.
Yeah.
It actually starts next week. So welcome to college football 2025. And it is here upon us. And I'm excited. So next week, Jacob, what we might do is start looking at some of the games that's going to be happening Saturday and just give our own spin on them. And let's see what we can come up with and begin to talk about these things in a more real way now, because it is college football time, folks. And so let your fandom come out and all that kind of stuff. But I'm looking forward to next week. And Jacob, now, when does fantasy start for us?
It doesn't start week 0. It starts on week 1. So like Thursday of week 1, there's games on that Thursday, Friday, and then obviously Saturday with all the games. So yeah, it starts that Thursday. So that it starts on week 1. So that'll be fun. I think you're playing against.
I'm playing against Amber.
You're playing against Amber. Okay, that'll be a good matchup for you guys. Obviously, your situation right now is you are hoping John Mateer, nothing happens to him. I don't think the whole thing is kind of stupid. I don't think anything's really going to happen. It was more funny than anything else. But yeah, that'll be a good matchup. You guys are going to be. I'm sure you guys will be talking smack to each other. You got John Mateer. I think her starting quarterback is Haynes King from Georgia Tech, who I like a lot also. You got Isaiah Horton?
Yeah, I've chosen.
She's got Ryan Williams, so you guys both have a Bama receiver. That's going to be a good matchup. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, so Amber, just get ready, sister. But I'm thankful that we're gonna have I think it's gonna be a good year. I'm ready for football, Stephen. But Jacob, look in the chat. Ephraim says not a Michigan fan, but I do like their uniform.
Yep, we have one of the best helmets, uniforms in college football. I definitely agree with you there. Everyone's just saying, who's ready for college football? I think we're all ready for college football. We've been ready for that.
Now, Coach Carl said he wasn't, no invite to your league. What happened was, Coach, this was time when you were you were in the hospital.
Yeah, I'm thinking next year we'll try to do a lot bigger one. More people will know about it, or maybe do 2 leagues, or we'll figure out something to do. But it was pretty fun for the first time. A lot of us, we were all figuring it out for the first time together. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. How did you feel about your team overall? You like your squad? You like all your guys?
You know what? When after I put it on auto draft, it didn't quite matter. The guys that I handpicked, I feel good about those guys.
Yeah, I was looking at overall the teams, and I think your team's pretty good. There's a few teams that I think are going to be pretty tough. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be just a lot of bragging rights on the line. A lot of smack talk will be happening. So it'll be fun. Give us something to do during the season.
I know I'm playing. I think I have Amber first week. Wait a minute. I think I've got it right here. I have Amber the first week. I forgot how I go. Here go matchups. Is Amber the first week 1. Then week 2 is me and Burner. Me and Burner gonna go at it.
Yeah, Amber's got a good team too. She got Garrett Nussmeier like super freaking late in the draft somehow, and she got Jordan Marshall. She got a lot of guys that I really like. So I think she's got a good team. So that'll be a good tough matchup for you. Yeah, I don't know how she got Garrett Nussmeier so late. That was crazy to me.
And then on the third week, I'm up against A Scott 92.
Okay. And so me and you don't play for a while. So me and you don't play for a while down the road, but that'll be fun. That week that we play each other, we'll go over our fantasy matchup, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And so I've got to go back. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, this was an experience. And y'all, I was sitting in church.
That's funny.
I was sitting in church doing a draft. I really was, man. I hope the Lord don't get me for that. I was sitting in church, 5-star. Dwight, I was sitting in church doing my draft pick. One point I was driving, and the next point I was sitting in church doing a draft, man.
That's dedication, though.
But 5-star, Coach Carr, Dwight, those are some of the guys that you want to look in, Jacob in the future. Talk about gaming as well. Those guys are good. Those guys are good. Those guys are good.
Like I said, this next year, I'm sure will just be way bigger. This was kind of a test run, a first-year thing that we just kind of threw together. But, yeah, next year I'll be sure to open up the league to whoever wants to join it. And if we get enough people, maybe we'll even do 2 leagues. But, yeah, it's been fun so far. The draft has been fun, and now we're just all looking forward to week 1 and seeing how it goes.
Now, see, Dwight, now you sounding straight. Dwight said, I told my old lady I'm getting all these big house chores done in the next couple of weekends because college football's starting. Don't be asking me to fix pipes, walls, and stuff. Amen.
Dwight, you want to know like a secret hack? You need to find a lady that likes college football with you. That's a secret hack for Dwight.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Now, that's what's happening. Find you one that like college football. Find a female that likes what you like.
There you go.
That likes what you like. And if you find a female, listen, single guys, if you find a female that likes college football or football in general, she's a keeper. She's a keeper. I'm telling you now, she's a keeper. And if you find one and I like to fish, you find one. Oh, what Dwight? You know what? She might be an LSU fan. That's all fine and good, but she's a college football fan.
Yeah, exactly.
That still puts you on the winning side. That still puts you. Thank you, Tyke. We will hook up, brother. We will hook up. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff in the chat, I appreciate that. Thanks. I try to be fair to every team. If Michigan plays bad, I say they play bad. If they play good, I say they play good.
Yeah, and we all the same way. And just how Jacob and I became friends on Twitter and everything. But I'm telling you now, I'm saying this. The page that we on, it is not for the weak of heart. You can't be weak, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's a group chat of college football of all different fan bases, and man, there are some crazy people in there.
Y'all,
that is for sure.
I'm being honest. I'm out when I say this. Y'all, I have seen some folk. I've seen some folk Man, they crashed all the way out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some people that have really lost their minds in that chat. It's been pretty funny, but I think during the season it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
When a team loses their first game or something, that place is going to be horrible.
Herb
it's just
was
going
on
to
here
make the
last
season
night.
really fun.
Herb from Herb and Raj was on here last night, right? And Herb and Raj was on here last night. He said, I don't know where to fit in at on some of these conversations. I just sit back and watch. And if somebody says something, I just try to highlight it right then and just let them get it and all that kind of stuff. But Roll Tide 81, I'm not even gonna go there with you, Amber.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
He's a really cool dude. He's just really passionate, and man, he gets mad.
I didn't know he was like that. I didn't even know he was even like that. He's so cool and laid back.
You actually know him in real life?
Yes.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy.
I've known him through different chat groups. I didn't even know that was him until one day we were on in a space. And I said, oh man, no, not you.
Man, he is passionate about his Roll Tide, so that's for sure. But he's funny, yeah. There's a lot of, like Amber said, there's a lot of funny people in there.
Well, Jeff, you have to have thick skin to be in this chat group we in. I don't care if you a Bama fan, a Michigan fan, you can be doggone an Oral Roberts, a University fan if you want to be. You got to have some thick skin, but it makes for good entertainment as well.
Yeah, it definitely will be fun.
You're gonna see some stuff that's gonna have you laughing till you cry. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. So again, thank you, Jacob, for coming. I'll see you again next Tuesday. But don't be surprised if I send you a link and tell you, because if other stuff comes up, I'm gonna want my brother to come. Let's share about it too.
Yeah, and just let me know.
And everything. I got you. To all of you that are in the chat, all 30-something of y'all in the chat, thank you for coming. Roll Tide to you. Stephen, as always. Amber, Amber Nicole. Cheap entertainment. Cheap as in for free.
That's true.
Cheap as in free. Amber, Stephen, Jeff, all of the 401k crew, Latoya, Type Sports, all of y'all, 5-star, Coach Carl, B Sharp, all of y'all, thank y'all for coming. Everybody for coming. Double A as always. Everybody, thank y'all for coming, helping make the show what it is. Remember, without y'all, there's no us. So therefore, I don't take you all for granted. I thank you. I love y'all. I really do. And everything. And the Lord willing, creek don't rise. As in always, I'm no expert. I just know what I'm talking about. We're gonna have another great show tomorrow, and everything. But be sure and support all of us, and everything. Hit the like button on the way out, and don't forget that I'm also on TikTok. Can't remember all my name over there, but I've got over 1,000 folks following there for whatever the reason. But thank y'all for that and everything, and trying to get them to come over here, Jacob. And Jacob, I'm still waiting on you. We all still waiting on you to get your YouTube channel started.
I know. I need to try to do that. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do that. It's just like I said, it's a lot harder than people think, setting it all up, getting all the graphics, getting all the everything. It's a lot more than people think if they've never done it. So,
and a guy like me at my age and trying to learn it, Jacob, and you're thankful for Dwight, my producer. Thankful for him, and he's got to show me some ins and outs because he does work. Y'all heard that, did you? He works. He works, y'all. He has a job, like a real one. And as does the 401k crew, those that are not retired, but they work, have jobs, have families, take care of them. So juggling all of this is not easy. So I'm thankful. So Jacob, when you get it started, bruh, we are coming. We're coming. we're gonna get Jacob on Bam Dam and all that good stuff. And man, we're just going to increase everything. And so I'm just believing that. And Jacob, always, brother, thank you for coming.
Yep.
When I hang up, when I get off of here, I got to go put some tires on the car. And then, but while I'm at the tire shop, I will be tuned in to the channel call. The phone been going off, man. There's some stuff going on in the channel this morning, over on the chat this morning with us in our college there. There's some stuff going on over there, and I know they are letting it fly. So anyway, y'all have a great day. God bless you. And for those of you that are waiting, just know that next week now starts week 0 of college football. So starting next week, we're going at a little different format. So we're going to be talking, but we're about the Tide, but we're going to be throwing games in there as well now. So things are getting ready to change, but they're going to change for the better. And I think you're going to like it. So until next week, just remember, okay, Michigan's my number 2 team. So Jacob, you got a brother over here.
There we go.
Now I still don't like y'all, but y'all still my favorite to come up and rise. Cause long as you beat Ohio State, you good. You good.
Yeah. I think we have a good chance of doing that.
Yeah. And so you see where Zach, the ZNT Picture Show says, when you get your channel, Jacob, I'll subscribe, brother. So
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, eventually I will do that. Like Piano Man said, though, it's just hard with a job and family and all that stuff to find time to do all this stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely in the future going to be trying to get that all set up. But yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat for all the kind words, everything like that. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday. And yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, brothers and sisters. And that's it. Remember, keep God first. And remember, you can do all things through Christ. Forget them trees, hedges, and everybody else who don't like Bama. Buster, 3-Stroke Charlie, Billy, y'all know what's up with y'all. Until tomorrow, here at the Long Run, y'all have a great day. God bless and roll tide. Jacob, peace.
Yep.